Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. We are live on on YouTube and Periscope to discuss the results of the 2020 London Stadium survey. The results were published this morning from pretty much a lot of supporters have actually filled this out. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're all doing well. So 2 live streams in a day, in almost, 14 hours. Don't get used to this, guys. This isn't going to happen all the time. But I did say last night that if there's any new news that's important that we'll be breaking, I will be doing a stream for it as soon as possible. And obviously, this is now what it is. So, as always, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below for the affiliate link that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website where you can purchase retro kits, not just for West Ham, but there's England in there as well. There's loads of really, really nice gear. So go check those out, guys. But as always, let's go through the results. Now, according to Claret and WHU, and I've got obviously no reason to question it. The results from London Stadium survey show that 11,672 people have completed this. So I'm very that's probably one of the biggest we've ever had by the looks of things. These are everybody's answers that have completed it. So it's you, as it's definitely me. It's very possibly you. So let's just run through those as well so first question: after nearly 4 years, and of course by all means guys, put your thoughts in the live chat here or the description below if you're watching the replay. Good morning, Jay. Hello mate, good to see you. Hope you're doing all right. But as I say, for all these questions, let me know if you answered these and if you did, what your answer was. Now, so the first question is: after nearly 4 years in the London Stadium, do you believe that the move was a good one? 15% said yes, 67% said no, and 18% said not sure. Now, I put in there no, because it's after the 4 years. So as you can see there, it says a swing of 40% on last year, when 27% said it was not a good idea. Now, of course, this is in hindsight, but this was a this is a retrospective question. So because obviously when this first came out 4 years ago, that's why the first year after it was said, the question changes slightly, but it's still very, very good. A couple of people have either jumped in there. Zach, good morning. Hello, mate. Rick, good morning, mate. I'm doing well. I hope you are as well. Zach says, I think it was a great idea. Fair enough. Okay, so question 2. When will the London Stadium feel like a proper home? 7% said it does already. 4 to 5 seasons were answered by 12%. And also 12% answered 6 to 10 seasons. 57% said it never will. And 12% said 10 plus seasons. Now, I said another 4 to 5. I'm within that. So Bruno, morning, mate. Hope you're doing all right. Okay, so let's just jump through the stupid advertising I always have. If you are so another swing of 36% of last year saying that the London Stadium will never feel like home. Where are we? If you are, Zach has answered his question there, and guys, for those who are still in the chat there, Barnes, put your answers in there. Bruno, I can't have a personal conversation, mate, because we're trying to do this. All right. So Zach says, I'd say next season. It's not there though. Well, of course not, because we haven't finished the season yet. So if you are a season ticket holder, do you plan to renew for next season? 1% already have multi-year deal. 26% said yes. 12% said no. 24% said not sure. 34% said not a season ticket holder, and 3% said they were on the waiting list. With season ticket renewals yet to be announced, it's hard to compare these results against last year. Well, it's not really hard, to be honest with you, Sean, if you're watching, because at the end of the day, it's just what people are answering. I said not sure. I'm part of the 24% said they're not sure if they're going to renew next season. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know at the moment as it stands at the minute. Kind of falling out of love with West Ham the way things are, but they are my club. If you are a season ticket holder, have you ever used ticket exchange functionality for matches you can't make? 15% said I never miss a game. 20% said yes sometimes. 8% said yes every time I can't go. 27% said I prefer to sell it myself or forward to a friend or family. 21% said not worth it financially, and 9% said I prefer to leave my seats empty. Broadly similar to last year, although the amount who prefer to leave their seat empty when not in use has risen threefold from 3%. So for me, I answered the question, it's not worth it financially. It's not. It really, really isn't. I mean, I hardly ever miss any games, if I'm honest with you, right? I hardly miss any games. And when I do, I've tried to put it up on the ticket exchange. You get next to nothing back. And they're selling your ticket for 60, 70 quid upwards. And you get what, a fiver, if that, if you do sell your ticket. I don't think it's worth it. I really don't think it's worth it. I'd rather give it to a family friend or someone at work, or just leave it empty, because it's irrelevant. Ticket exchange is irrelevant. It benefits the club more than it benefits the supporter. Which to a degree should be, but we should be financially better off than the club, but we're not. What is your view on the general match day atmosphere at the London Stadium in terms of volume and support for the team? 4% said excellent, 18% said good, 42% said average, and 36% said poor. A swing of 22% to poor on last year. Not impressed with the London Stadium atmosphere. And Jays has just put a comment in there about the ticket exchange, saying, Jays, they sell yourself full price. Yeah, he means the ticket. Good, because we sometimes boo our players. I don't know why he said fans in there. That's not also correct. I said, well, the general atmosphere in there is poor. I said it was poor because it is. It's nothing to do with the stadium itself. I've said it many, many times. It's down to the players. It is down to the players. It's not down to the players itself. Sorry, I was reading Zach's thing again. It's not down to the players. It's down to ourselves. I've said it many, many times. It's down to us. We create the atmosphere. I know it's a catch-22 before anybody jumps on my back for saying that, because at the end of the day, we can only react to what's going on. But the atmosphere for the first few minutes of games are very, very good. Very, very good, if not excellent. And then the atmosphere just pitters out. So it's us. It's us. The only atmosphere that is brilliant is the fact when we seem to be winning, which is very, very fickle. It's very, very fickle. When we're losing, we still should be creating an atmosphere and getting behind the team, which we do a lot, but not for the 90 minutes. And not consistently enough over the season. And Zach Jay agrees when we said the atmosphere is great when we're winning. So that's what I'm saying. It's how fickle we are for a lot of things. What is your view on the quality of stewarding and security, taking into account the last game you attended at the London Stadium? Excellent was 2%, good was 18%, average was 38%. Poor was 42%, and a swing of 11% to poor So 11% more people have said it's poor for the quality of the stewarding at the London Stadium, and agreed 100%. It is abysmal. I put poor. They're nice guys. I haven't had any words with them. Some of them even say when you get there very, very early, which I do sometimes, they do say enjoy the game. Some of them do. It's good. You can have a bit of a laugh with the guys who are doing the security checks, but in general, it is poor. It is absolutely poor. It's better than it used to be, but it is still pretty poor. What is your view on the quality, choice of and price of food and drink within the London Stadium? 1% said excellent, 10% said good, 35% said average, and 54% of people said it was poor. A swing of 13% more to poor on this section compared to last year. To be honest with you, I put poor, right? Because the quality is abysmal. The food tastes terrible. The choice is limiting. No different than how it was at the London Stadium. That's right, at the Bowling, I should say, because we were still able to get the same sort of pies. Larger hot dogs now, they're footlongs. Taking out the choice of bloody popcorn, taking that out of the equation. The prices are ridiculous. You spend 10 quid on a drink and a piece of food. It's poor. It really, really is poor. And it's now contactless as well for a lot of the kiosks, which is a poor choice. It's a really poor choice. The food's hardly warm. Understandable to a degree because it's under those stupid heating lights. But yeah. And Jay is quite rightly said that's because they are event stewards, and quite rightly so. But they still need to treat people like human beings at the end of the day. Some of them do, but the majority of them don't. What is your experience of the London Stadium sightlines and views of the pitch from your seat? 9% said excellent, 29% said good, 31% said average, and also 31% said poor. Now, for me personally, I am one of the ones that said good, because from my seat, as it stands at the moment, is a very, very good view. Very good view. You can pretty much see everything. When we were at the Bowling, me and my mates, if we wanted to see what was going on at the other end of the ground, I had to duck down under the crossbar to try and figure out what the hell was going on. So from that comparison, the sight lines and the views from my seat are good. It's the only, if I remember correctly, it's probably the only one that I said was good. Yeah, Joe's completely right here. Joe says they've grouped too much together in that question. Beer service has improved a little, but over a tenner for a preheated burger and chips is a piss take. Agreed. Exactly what I've just said, Joe. Thank you for backing me up on that one, mate. What is your experience of travelling to and from the London Stadium, taking into account walking, public transport, or car? 8% said excellent, 27% said good, average was 30%, and 35% said poor, which is a 10% increase to poor on last year, and quite rightly so, because yes, the connections to Stratford Station are one of the best one of the few of the best of the country. I think there's only Clapham Junction and the main terminatory places like Waterloo, etc., that have better connections than we do at Stratford. But in terms of travelling, because bearing in mind, travelling to the London Stadium includes coming out of Stratford, heading through Westfield if you do, going through Stratford High Street if you do, etc., etc. So all has to be taken into consideration, and as a result of that, it's poor. It is really, really poor. I said many times, including when the London Stadium was first announced and we had the first season there, I said there should be a match day only entry and exit. on both sides of the London Stadium. Because a lot of people go to Hackney Wick, and a lot of people go to Stratford. So there should be a match day only in and out, as far as I'm concerned. So once you do that, it will cut down all that faffing around that we've got to do. I know it's a multi-million-pound thing to do, but they should have thought of that in the first place. Some people go to get off at West Ham and walk down because it's not that far. It's not a bad walk from there either. Fair enough. But it's poor. It is poor connections. It really, really is. How do you rate your general match day experience at the London Stadium? 3% said excellent. 21% said good, 41% said average, and 35% said poor. An increase of 21% to poor in comparison to last year. And for me, I put the general match day experience was average because it's average West Ham. That's the majority of it. That's the majority of the reason why I personally put average. It's poor. It's an awful thing to do. It's an awful place to go to, London Stadium. Yes, I know we're all clouded with our sentiment for the bowling ground, but the match day experience includes the travel, includes the security checks. It includes being checked before you get into your own bloody seat as well, for that matter. A lot of the people don't do it anymore as a result of all that. And the match day experience in general is poor. It is poor. I said it's average, but I was being generous. I think it is more. It's more average. It's averagely poor, shall we say, as far as I'm concerned. Jay saying about the transport connection says if you live, I think it means love the stop and go Westfield. Yeah. Okay, so West Ham has been criticised by some for not paying enough in the contribution to the running costs. Do you think West Ham should pay more? 33% said yes, 39% said no, and 28% said they don't know. That's an increase of 11% who believe West Ham should pay more for the London Stadium compared to last year. 100% we should. 100%. I put yes on this. Reason being is because we've got a bargain bucket deal. The club is making bloody millions of pounds every fucking season, and all we're doing is paying for the rent. We're not paying for anything. And what was it? Well, I know we pay for the upkeep of the carpet, and a few other little peripheral things, but we should be paying more. We should have football stewards in there. As good as event stewards are, we should be having football stewards in there. We should be pay more for the running costs of the ground. We should be paying more for the upkeep of the ground itself, and etc. etc. But that's my personal opinion, guys. As always, let me know what your thoughts are on that. Do you think West Ham will become a regular top 6 club within the next 5 years as a result of the move to the London Stadium? 3% said yes, 88% said no, and 9% said not sure. It's an increase of 16% of no compared to last year. So I said no. I don't. It's not going to be 5 years. It's nowhere near 5 years. We've been there for almost 4 seasons, and we're still battling relegation. How the bloody hell are we going to go for that to be a regular top 6 club within 5 years? It's ridiculous. This is the same question that's been This has been going on right from the start. I mean, the majority of these questions are exactly the same from every single survey, but that's not the point. Do you think West Ham will kick on to the next level and become a top 4 team within 10 years as a result to moving to the London Stadium? 3% said yes. Was that the same percent? Yeah, the same amount of people said yes. The last question said yes to this one. A slight variance of no of 87% in comparison to 8%. And so whoever said no to the 5-year question, I'm not sure about the 10 years, because it's 10. Not sure is 10%, an increase of 17% on no compared to last year, because we're not that dumb, we're not that stupid. If we don't think we're going to do it in 5 years, how the fuck are we going to be able to do it in 10 years? So I said no to both of those questions. Do you think the West Ham board are doing This question and the answers are completely irrelevant. Do you think the West Ham board are doing a good job? Well, this is a yes or no. What this question should actually say is how do you think the board are doing at their job? 1% said excellent, 4% said good, 22% said average, and 73% said poor. No surprises there in any shape or form. The biggest swing of the survey, with 57% going to poor for the West Ham board. 2019 figures were 3% excellent, 36% said good, 45% said average, and poor of 16%, because we were having a bloody good season last season. That's why. But yeah, 73% feel the board are doing a poor job. No surprises in any shape or form. Ben asks, why do you think the owner should be paying more though, John? Because it's a dodgy deal, mate. In terms of that, it's our stadium. We should in terms of the rentage, right? Personally, Ben, I mean, it's a top question, as it always is from you. And Ben agrees. Yeah, the way the questions are structured are daft. But I say we should be paying more, because at the end of the day, as I said, the club makes millions of pounds and they're paying nothing towards the club. They're only paying out what they feel they should be doing. That's why they need to be paying more. Hello, Phil. Good to see you, mate. Right. So, how does West Ham value you as a supporter and listen to fan concerns? Jay's answered the question there. Hashtag GSB out. Okay, so the result was 1% said West Ham is excellent. Again, anyway, 4% said good, 24% said average, and 71% said poor. The second biggest swing of the survey, with a 40% increase to poor on valuing and listening to supporters. Yeah, well, we bloody know that. Come on, Sean, it's not that difficult. Phil, I'll ask you a question at the end of it. Luke's in. Hello, Luke. Good to see you, son. Luke from Three Hammers, I'm guessing. Them not paying more is their get out clause when asked to change things. Oh, we don't own the stadium, we can't change it. Exactly, Luke. That's the point. Yeah, it is. And that's what I said, that they feel that they should be. That's what they're paying. But again, this question is ridiculously worded. How does West Ham value as a supporter listen to the fans' concerns? So it should be, how do you feel their attitude as a West Ham supporter? So even though there's quite a few people on here that aren't supporters that have still answered this question, it's right, 100%. It is poor. They don't listen to us. They don't listen to us in any shape or form. Phil says, was the move to London Stadium the right idea, Johnny Boy? No, it wasn't. It was from a business point of view, but it wasn't from a West Ham point of view, because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And yep, that's it. Those are the answers to everybody's questions. So yeah, this last year, 2009 said 2% that were excellently valued. 20% said that it was a good value. 47% that we were averagely valued, and 31% said it's poor value. Whereas these results, together with 4,950 additional comments, were sent to David Sullivan, David Gold, Karen Brady, Tara Warren, and Andy Mollett on Saturday morning. So this is directly from Claret and Hughes. So guys, by all means, go and check those out, those previous ones, if you want to see and look at the full survey, including all the comments. But actually, guys, funnily enough, what I'll do while we're on it is I'm very, very curious. Let's have a look to see if I can actually get this up. Where are we? As the actor said to the bishop, "Oi, oi." Bear with me, guys, 2 minutes. just gonna see if we can have a look to see what the comments were. So look. West Ham Cyber Leaders back. Hello, mate. Good to see you. At least we get more fans than Upton Park. I so miss Upton Park. Agreed, mate. We all do. Karen Gold Sullivan out. Right, that's just all the flapping data. See if I can see where we get. Ben Davis says. Ben Davis says, "Will they give a toss about the survey? Doubt it. Probably not, Ben. Probably not. But in terms of everything else that's going on at the minute with the increase of numbers for the fan protests, coupled with this survey, coupled with the blasting that they're still getting from the media here and there, I think they will. If they've got any legitimate sense, any brains in any shape or form, I honestly think that they will actually. I think they will actually look to take more into consideration. Right. Okay. So here we go. Here we go. Here are the responses. So let me bring it up on the screen for you guys. All right. So would go to more match. Question number one: would go to more matches, but often than not, there are more. There are no trains running on match days. Company wines. Keep up the good work. Ignore the boo boys. Blah blah blah. No. I love when people say got any more comments. No. I love it. It always cracks me up when you see that. Give Davis Moyes a chance. Did an excellent job at Everton, a similar club as us. Invest in top football league players like Antonio, etc. Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. Please listen to this idea. We left Upton Park losing the iconic castle behind. The white beams above the words West Ham United on top of the stadium cross could easily house two giant hammers crossing over. Very good point. Give us a feature to stand out again. We have made massive steps towards the London Stadium, feeling like home, but I would still like to see more claret and blue where concrete is constantly the colour in places. Agreed, 100%. Rick has donated a £5. Thank you very much via the super chat, mate. Much appreciated. Always a pleasure for you to fund the channel, mate. I just wish more people would help. Luke says, we will never get that opportunity again. We should have been all out for Lacazette that first summer. Agreed. Now players know the stadium issues, etc. Sadly, can't turn back time. Agreed, mate. Fuck off, Golden Sully. Where's your fucking money? Welcome, Nathan. Good to see you, mate. Not bad. Not bad language for a 13-year-old. Luke, you're a teacher, mate. Have a word, son. Jay said, do you think when they'd sell to an owner with the same passion as them? None. They'd probably Jay, mate, they will sell to the first person that comes along. I guarantee it. Like just as they did with Birmingham. In question for the all right, so you're 14. Yes, well that it doesn't matter, Nathan. Yes, all right, you had a birthday the other week. Apologies, but you like what's your language, sunshine? My dad used to clout me if I used language like that at 14. I had an opportunity to sign Vardy that summer. Agreed. West Ham Cyberlead says, I like David Moyes, but if he were sacked, I would like Mark Noble as manager, because he would know to play the game. Plus, I think he means to know how to play the game. Plus, they should make another station near the ground. Agreed, mate. Nathan's laughing. Alex says, I teach PE in Newham. I've heard worse. I'm sure you have, mate. I'm sure you have. Okay, so going back to other people's comments here, I feel the food options outside the stadium were better than the first season there. Yeah, and I've gotten lazy as the time has gone on. As a result, I can't remember the last time I bought food there. Also, I believe the stadium has the ability to make us a top 6 club, and hope we become one. But some better decisions need to be made along the way. to make this a reality. Definitely feel excited and in awe each time I walk from the station and see the stadium, and can't believe how lucky we are it's our home. But I do wish I was closer to the home dugout like I was at Upton Park. All the time, but can't afford those club seats. Yes, mate, not many people can. If you're watching, I think everybody needs to stop bitching and get on with supporting the club board stadium. Negativity doesn't help anyone. I'm not talking about that. I've spoken about that many times. GSB out. Taking an age to respond and do not deliver what they promise. These are binary questions which don't give an insight into supporter sentiment. Well, some of them are, some of them aren't. Binary for this person who is basically yes or no. Ones and zeros. That's what binary is. This is a little bit more expansive than that. The frustration of a lot of fans lies in the fact that, given the venue and facility, this person's grammar is terrible. And the facility, the experience could be so much better with a bit of thought. In order to understand that point of view, you need to take more time to get feedback from a diverse fan base. Well, we can't get much more diverse than West Ham supporters. Bring Harry Redknapp back as a director of football. We need more of the old value around the club, and someone the fans will honour and relate to. Well, we won't relate to him because he's a dodgy git. We won't honour him because he's a dodgy sod as well. But I see the point. West Ham side leader has been a little bit lazy with his notes here. They should make a Tesco near the ground because food is expensive in the ground. Agreed. There's quite a few round actually, mate. To be fair, when you come out the London Stadium, depending where you're going to be, your best bet for future reference is getting outside, going out of the town centre exit, because you've got a WH Smith where you can grab reasonably priced food. If you go out and head down the high street, you can go out and there's a Tesco's around the corner there, so you can get your club points, mate. And also, if you walk down, what a lot of us do, if you walk down Carpenter's Way, there's a very good little shop in there that sells good food and good prices as well. Ben Davis is being cheeky as he always is. As Redknapp can work with the finance department. He'd argue with Sullivan about spending less, mate. I guarantee it. Nathan says just going Westfield for shopping. Had Harry Redknapp's roly-poly, says Jay. Flatten it and build a proper football ground. If it wasn't for taking my son to the game, I would have binned it by now. GSB out. Sold the soul of the club. Stadium would be 1,000 times better if it was actually set up for football matches, not just an event stadium. Bring the seats closer, lose the top tier seats, and dig down to make the fans closer to the pitch. Also have TV screens of the game in the concourse. Good idea. We used to have that at London Stadium, at the bowling ground. If I'm paying ridiculous money for a beer and food at halftime, I want to eat it and still watch the kickoff for the second half. Agreed, 100%. I think the club needs to be realistic in their ambitions. Let's get a good settled side. It is great to aim high, but let's get stable. That sounds like a good song. Let's get stable, and not always be fearing of relegation. Giza says lost for words. It said, I'm a Northern Irish fan, only get over a couple of times a year. Owners have to put their money where their mouths are. I no longer go to games as the match day experience is so poor. Would rather watch away games now. A lot of us do. A lot of us are in that mindset now. Sell the club to Red Bull. At least they do more than what our board does. True. The whole move has been a big waste of time and disappointment. We have a board that seems to have a dislike of its own supporters. I want them to sell ASAP. The owners are wrecking the club. Not saying club grew up to love. So not saying club most grew up to love. Yes, the atmosphere isn't as good as it was at Upton Park. However, I think due to the capacity increase, more kids are going and therefore the atmosphere drops. Yeah, I can see that. Believe me, I've been to Upton Park on many occasions where the atmosphere was poor. Agreed. A lot of people seem to forget that. The amount of supporters we cram into the stadium should create a fantastic atmosphere, but most just sit or stand and watch the game instead of getting involved. Noticed that the away supporters make enough noise. Well, away supporters make enough noise wherever you're going. I've been going to a few away games over the last couple of seasons, and we sing a lot as away fans. We really, really do. And then we go home. We come back to the home games. And we're not hardly any singing because like you say, like this person is quite rightly pointing out. Um, they can. That's the thing. That's the thing. The atmosphere. I said at the start of the video, the atmosphere is all down to us. It's all down to us. The walk to and from Stratford Station and the ground is far worse than the queue at Upton Park Tube Station. Yeah. It's a great stadium, but not a football stadium. No parking within a mile and a long walk from any station. Current manager was a terrible decision. Until they either turn the London Stadium into a proper football ground or have a proper football ground built elsewhere, West Ham will never have a home. Agreed. Golden and Sullivan have sold the real fans down the river to make a quick pound from tourists. Oh, GSB out, fed up, bored out, sack the board. Need to buy stadium, need to trust supporters to leave stadium without lollipop signals. The board have sold us down the river and lied from the moment the move was announced. When they said next level, I didn't think they meant the championship. Worst board in the league. I think the move was a good idea, but until we buy the stadium and can develop it properly, I think that's meant to be, it will never feel like home. The seats distance to the pitch is a joke. There is no atmosphere, and it is an athletic stadium still. The owners lied, saying we would not move unless the pitch and the seats were as close as the bowling. I am ashamed of our stadium when I see Spurs and Arsenal, etc. Agreed, 100%. It looks impressive on the outside, but that's it. We are who we are. New fan base needs to be realistic. I miss the bowling. We are realistic. That's the problem. We love our club. Please love it just as much. Why do the board do what it wants and not listen to the fans? Again, go just be out. Seats need to be moved as close as possible to the pitch if you want. If you get wet, so what? Again, owners need to sell the club. Now, this is quite a long one here, guys, so bear with me. The board should answer all questions for the postponed meeting on the 25th of February. They should meet with fans to be open and honest, invest in players. Hang on, sorry. Yeah, I'm still here, by the way, guys. Invest in players, training ground, also support staff throughout the club. Do not expect staff to work long hours without proper remuneration for it. This sounds like this is an ex-employee somehow. Not the ex-employee, by the way, but a former worker there, by the looks of it. Employ an experienced CEO with a proven track record. Get shot of KB as she's damaging the club and its reputation. Employ an experienced communications manager. Have a proper business plan and strategy with future investment in the club in all areas, including the academy. Have a structure to unite all fans. Devise a recruitment plan to retain staff. Why is there such a high turnover of office staff? Have more fan engagement and be honest and open with the fans. Don't try to twist the truth to make the owners look good. Don't rearrange meetings to suit yourselves and then refuse to attend. Remember that the fans going to the meetings have a life and have cancelled work holidays, hospital appointments, etc. to accommodate you, and some have lost money because of this. Remember, they are giving up their own time for free and not getting paid for this, and you are with all the high interest you charge on the loans with the club. To be grateful to all fans who engage with you, listen to them. You still need to create an atmosphere at the London Stadium. The fans will get behind the team, but the players need to do their part as this is giving by giving their all in every game. Get some unity in the dressing room and encourage the players to play as a team. Long-term rebuilds the London Stadium as a purpose-built football ground. If you're watching this, I want you on this channel because that is a fantastic comment, guys. That sums up pretty much everything in one go. I'm not going to read I'm not going to read the remaining 4,700 odd comments, but that comment was absolutely superb. If you're watching, I want you on the channel ASAP. So see what everybody else is has said. So Nathan says, so how about West Ham lower the price on food? It can't, Nathan, because it's down to do West Ham don't have any ownership on the food. They get the money on the sales after the company that runs it has paid their employees, and etc. etc. JZ says there is a river underneath the stadium, so can't flatten it. Yes, but the river was man-made. Jay, it can be moved. It can be moved around. I know what you mean. But the actual stories that came out, the reasons a couple of years ago was because the seats couldn't be lowered because apparently there's lots of toxic shit underneath the pitch. That's the real reason. But yes, it is part of the river at the same time. West Ham side leader says, does the roof even close? Because last time I was there, I was pouring. Pouring what? What were you pouring? And they told me to take my hood down. Well, I don't think it does, to be honest with you, fella. I really don't think it does. Nathan says, if Red Bull buy us, they will change our badge and stuff. Well, we've already had a change, so I'd rather anyway. That's for another time, Nathan. The London Stadium is mostly full of plastics. Disagree. Ben says, do you think the owners are doing a good job? Excellent. Oh, shut up. We've already talked about that, Ben. West Ham side leader, don't want to say it, but Spurs football stadium is better. Yes, it is. On the inside, it's beautiful. I've said it many times, especially when I went there for the first game last season. Hey, awful on the outside. So let's just seal Tottenham Stadium. JP, are you seriously going to read out the 5,000 comments? No, Gus, as I said. West Ham side leader, yeah, Nathan, good one. Nathan also says, just put their stadium on a truck and move it back to Upton Park and destroy the flats and then redecorate it into West Ham. Hello, Leo. Good to see you, mate. Ben, come on. I'm not doing that all day. Where are we? So I so dislike Gold Sully, but believe if they said to Brady, you're fired and got a proper CEO, we could get back on track. I disagree, Jay. I really do. I really, really do. The damage is done. It's not Grady. It's not Brady. Sorry, it's not. It's more deep line than that, unfortunately. More WHU says, I've been thinking about the Red Bull argument. Realistically, all we have of West Ham left is the colours and the name West Ham United. Agreed, mate. 100%. I agree with you. So, guys, that's it. Thank you very much for your time. As I said, come on back on the channel at midday tomorrow. I've got Dom from West Ham Fan TV's coming on. It's gonna be a very, very good conversation. We're going to talk about West Ham and obviously about the suspension and a few other things that I'm sure Dom wants to talk about. Because it's going to be like a live fan cam, really, to a degree. Obviously, a lot longer than Nicky's and Hammer's Chat's ones are. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Dom's got to say, and I'm sure you guys will as well. So thank you very much to everybody that's subscribed over the last 12, 13 hours. Very, very kind of you. We're now at the time of going live, we're at 1,525. So 75 more to go to get us to 1,600 by the time of the end of the season, no matter whenever the end of the season is going to be. Adam, hey, hello, mate. Good to see you. I'm doing well. I hope you are too, mate. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for your time. If you've liked the video, then by all means, please, this live stream and the conversation we've had, including obviously reading out some of the very, very good comments that people have made on the website. Once this live stream is concluded in the next minute or so, I will put a link down to the comment section. So guys, go by all means, please do go check that out. Joe asks, I wonder that if the seats were moved up to the pitch and the roof, would the roof need moving, doing again to be over the top. Yes, it would, Joe. It would cost a lot of money. I mean, it's not good enough as it is. 60 million quid, and all they did is extend it by a couple of feet. They really need to pull the finger out and just get. Ideally, we should have something. We should have something that gets not completely covered like Wimbledon main pitch, main court, I should say, court 1, wherever it's called. But something along those sort of lines. That sort of length. We should have something that so the roof. I mean, the problem with rain is, right? It blows in from loads of different directions, so you'll never fully cover everybody. But we should be covering more people than we currently are. And if the seats are going to be moved forward a few feet, in the next for next season, if next season happens, then yes, that'll have to be. But anyway, guys, thank you very, very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I will see you at midday tomorrow when Dom and I talk about West Ham. All the best. Take care.